Hey, I just want to thank you for joining us today. I'm here at the airport getting ready to head to Haiti in just a few hours, and just wanted to give you a little greeting and thank you for joining us on today's program. I hope you enjoy it and you enjoy being with us, and I want to thank you for all of your support and everything that you do to help us help the people of Haiti. God bless you. Thank you. Stay tuned and be blessed. Greetings and welcome to this, the very first episode of Global Provision Television. I'm glad to have you with us today. I'm Bishop Chuck Wilson and globalprovision.org, and I'm glad to have this opportunity to share with you what God is doing and how He's blessing us and moving in us, and the things that are going on not only in the ministry here in the United States, but also what is happening down in the nation of Haiti, where we do our bulk of our missions outreach to. And I'm glad to have this opportunity. I'm glad you joined us. And if you're ready, here we go. All right. I don't know how much that you know about the nation of Haiti, but the last number of years has been quite difficult for the people who live there. I've been going to Haiti. The first time I went with my parents. I was 8 years old, 1973, and we went to see some missionary friends that were based in Haiti at the time. And ironically, it's the same location that I head back to most of the time when I'm there in these days. And it's quite something to see how it's developed over the years. But I've been going to Haiti off and on ever since I was a child. Picked up more regularly in the early 2000s and became more of a regular thing. And then by 2017, I was making multiple journeys a year. I don't know how many times I've been to Haiti at this point. I'm probably getting close to 30 trips that I've made in the last few years. But it's quite the adventure when you get down there. To say that they don't live a lifestyle that like we have in the United States is just a pure understatement, because there's no similarities between the two. And I don't know why God chose me to go to Haiti. I don't know why He put the burden in my heart to do so, but I'm glad that He did, because I've made some wonderful friends and met some wonderful brothers and sisters in the nation of Haiti, and I've had my share of exciting times. I've had a couple of close calls and things of that nature. But in everything that we do, God has always been with us and everything that's going on. If I can, for a few minutes, let me give you a little bit of background of what's been going on in the nation of Haiti the last few years. Political protests picked up, I believe it was February of 2018. And I happened to be there at the time, and we thought it was just going to be a day or two protest and the things would get back to normal, but that wasn't the case. It got progressively worse as the days went on. When we got down to the fourth day, and they were just around the corner from the house where I was staying at. I had actually, for the previous 3 days leading up to that, they had come and told me, don't leave the property, don't leave the house. You need to stay here. And I pay attention to what my guys say when I'm down there. because they look out for my best well-being. But it got rather chaotic. There was a time that we're up on the side of a hill a little bit, and I could look up and down the main road, and I could see upwards of a dozen fires going on the road at one point, looking both directions. You could hear the massive crowds and everything that was going on with them. You could hear it all transpiring. And it got quite exciting, and we eventually got to the point it was like it'd probably be best if I got out of here and headed toward home. So that's what we prepared to do, and it took us a little while we made a plan, and we had several steps to it, and we got a little way down the plan before it finally kicked into action, and I was able to get to the airport safely. God provided a way and a taxi driver who was willing to get me there, and I got to the airport, and I still had 2 days to go before my flight left town. So I told the lady at the desk, I said, "Hey, just check my bags, and I'll just hang tight in the lounge area, and I'll catch my flight out Tuesday morning." And she said, "Where are you going?" I said, "Fort Lauderdale." And she says, "Oh, we got a plane going to Fort Lauderdale at 9 o'clock. And I said, "Really?" So she's picked up the phone and made a couple phone calls, and lo and behold, I managed to get on the flight. And God made a way for it, and I was able to get home that night, all safe and sound. And since that time, it's just been chaos, gang violence, like nothing that we're accustomed to here in the United States. Different gangs have different parts of the country cut off and isolated from the others. It's difficult to travel across the country because you have to go through various checkpoints that the gangs are operating, and they want to take you or your car or anything else that you got in it. That's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to take what they want. So it makes it very hard to travel and makes it very unsafe. You may have heard this past year, near the end of 2021, there was a group of 17 missionaries from Ohio that were taken by a gang and held for ransom for a number of days. God delivered them and got them out of there and got them out of harm's way and brought them out safely. But it's just a tremendous situation that is just so chaotic. Massive earthquake hit last year in August, and we had a number of church facilities that were damaged, but we couldn't get to see them because of the gangs had the road closed at Mar-de-Sant, heading out toward the southern part of the country. So it was impossible for us to get there. I felt really bad. We made 3 attempts, 3 days, to try to work around and try to find a way to get out there. And everything that we did just didn't seem to work, and I was feeling really down about it. And I went back to where I was staying at, and I was sitting there, and I was drinking a cold soda, and in walked some workers from the Red Cross, and I said, "How are you guys doing?" And they said, "It's very frustrating." They said, "We've been trying to get to the earthquake zone for a couple days, and we're not able to get there because of the gangs." And I thought, man, here I am, just a small organization, and if somebody as big as the Red Cross is unable to get there, it just shows you the magnitude of things that are going on. And they've got food supplies cut off. They've got building materials cut off. It's just impossible to do anything or to move around the country because of the stronghold, the chokehold that they have going across the country at the moment. Just makes everything very difficult. And if you want to make it even worse than that, you can throw into the fact that the president was assassinated, and they haven't had a functioning government now for some time. For a while, they had 2 men who claimed to be the prime minister and wanted to take over, and that didn't work out so well. One of them finally relented and let the other one, but nobody recognizes his power, and they haven't had congressional elections as we would know it. They do have a number of people who were senators, but they're actually out of term of office. They still show up and try to work, trying to get things done for the Haitian people, but it's just been so difficult for them because technically they're out of office, they're out of power. Nobody has any power. There hasn't been national elections. We're about 3 years past when they should have been held. So it's just been extremely, extremely difficult for anything to get done. And it's just so hard. And in a country that's tough anyway, you throw all this on top and it just makes it worse. When I was there 2 months ago, the streets were as empty as I'd ever seen it. Some of that may be in people were afraid of gang violence, but more so because there's been a fuel shortage now for 2 years. And the price of gasoline is actually a whole lot cheaper than it is in America, but the availability isn't there. And so, I mean, it makes life so difficult. Grocery stores are closed. A lot of them run on generators. There's been no fuel to run the generators, so they just shut down. When they sold their food out, they just shut the stores down because there's no way to keep things from spoiling. Many of the hospitals in town that run on generators have had a hard time. At one point, I read that there were 8 of 14 hospitals were out of diesel fuel and unable to power their generators to keep the hospital running, and they were moving patients around. A tough, tough atmosphere. But in the middle of that, God is doing something. And that is why I'm here today, to share that with you. I'm going to take a little break right here. I'm going to show you a little clip from my friends at the Sarasota House of Prayer, who are so good to us and do so much ministry alongside of us and us alongside of them. We're partners together. I'm going to show you a little clip from them. And then I'm going to show you a little something about what we're working on in Haiti, and I'll be back to talk about it in just a couple minutes. Stay tuned. I'll be right here. All right, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed those little video clips there. If you've got a young person that's looking for a place to maybe thinking about getting involved in ministry, want to get their feet wet, I highly suggest joining Voice Ministry School at the Sarasota House of Prayer and let them bless you. It's a solid biblical foundation to get started in. If they have musical tendencies, there's a great avenue for them to get involved musically. They spend many hours a week in the prayer room and intercessory prayer, lifting up worship unto the Lord. It's just a great place for young people to be. So check them out by all means. Okay. The second video you saw right there is the thing that I'm here to talk to you about today. I got approached a few months back. You know, it's so easy in Haiti to. The needs are so great. You can get wrapped up in so many things. Schools, orphanages, you name it, the need is there. The last couple of years, we've handed out somewhere around 80,000 pounds of rice. We've had churches donate, and we've been able to get it out and distribute it through COVID and through the earthquakes that have happened and so forth. It's just been tremendous. We've had people that have given through the earthquakes to the buildings and the help restructure of the things that are done there. We had 11 church buildings that were damaged to some degree or another. A few that are totally had to be torn down to the ground and start again from scratch. But it's so easy. You can get so many things going on. And I've always asked God, I said, like, I really want to do something. I really want to do this one thing. I want to get one thing and really zero in on it and do it with excellence unto you. And this opportunity about a medical clinic came up. Dr. DeMercy is reality part of our church fellowship. He came up in one of our churches, and he's a longtime friend of our bishop in Haiti, Bishop Renaud Benami. And Bishop Renaud talked to me and put us all together, and we've had a couple conference calls and to connect the dots and to get things going. And the doctor's been in another country for some time, working with other companies and so forth. But he's coming back to Haiti. He's coming back to his home, and he wants to establish a medical clinic in the neighborhood where he grew up at. And that's what we're endeavoring to do. We're in that neighborhood. We're right there. So we're well connected and understand the needs of the community. Just outside of our front door is the most populous neighborhood in the entire nation. We're right in the epicenter of the population. One of the things that is a great need in Haiti is medical need. You saw in the video clip there a list of some of the common things that pop up. Some of the most common causes of death are things that in America, we get a common pill either over the counter or by prescription, and we can take care of it. But in Haiti, they don't have that option. They don't have that availability unto them. And we need to give the opportunity for that. So we sit down and we talk to the doctor and we begin to lay out plans. And if you watch us over the coming weeks, we're going to get into even more details and more things that are coming on. And I'm like, you know, when we talk medical in America, you know, I had a hospital stay 5 years ago, and it was 3 days, and I think it was $72,000 was my hospital bill. You know, when we talk medical in America, our mind just explodes with the amount of money that's involved and what it takes to do that. So that's where my mind instantly went when Bishop and the doctor began to talk to me. But as we begin to talk and we begin to discuss and lay the plans and do the research on things, we have the opportunity to establish a walk-in clinic, be open about 8 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week. Dr. DeMercy thinks he can see probably 300 patients a week in this facility, which is an incredible number to me. But I looked what other mission groups are doing there with clinics, and that's right in line with the number of people that they are seeing in this type of a clinic in this type of neighborhood in Haiti, and for what they're doing. And I'm thinking to myself, to run something like that, I'm thinking, my mind starts screaming $100,000 or so, and we get to do crunching the numbers on it. For a doctor, a nurse, and a technician in the building, which we've already got a location, and we're beginning work on that very quickly here. But we can supply the building, the doctor, the nurse, and the lab technician for $25,000 a year. $25,000. In America, you can get a receptionist to sit at the front desk for $25,000 a year. But we can operate the whole thing for $25,000 a year. Now, I begin to run this through my mind, and I'm a preacher. I'm not a medical guy. My wife's in the medical field. She understands it. I keep going to her with the questions about it, and she keeps giving me the answers and or telling me where to go to get the answers. She understands all that better than I do. I'm just a Bible guy. I'm like, how do I do this? What do we do? And to sit back and not to try, I just can't do it. I think that God has given us an incredible opportunity at this time to establish a work that will impact thousands of people in our immediate neighborhood, not only for better health, but for a better life, for a better church. And the doctor shares with me and everything that's going on, and the basic needs that he can take care of for that amount of money. Now, I'm crazy enough to believe that God's going to do it. I'm crazy enough to believe it. I don't know, some people probably say I'm stupid enough to believe it. I'll go with that one even. I don't exactly know how, but he's going to use you, he's going to use me, he's going to use Bishop Renault, he's going to use Dr. DeMercy, and all of us together. We're going to put it all together, and it's going to come together, and we're going to establish a clinic to be able to help people in a place where they can't normally get help. $25,000 a year is not a lot of money. You can see on the behind us, globalprovision.org is our website. If you go on there and look at it right now, it talks a little bit about the clinic and the beginning phases of it. And there's a little box there that says 50/30 Club. I encourage you to go over to the website and click on that little box. It's going to take you to a link where you can give directly to the medical clinic. Now, we've started this a couple months ago and started putting things together. It's moved a little slow because just everything that's going on in Haiti, it's very difficult. I mean, it just took us 4.5 months to get construction estimates on a couple church buildings that are severely damaged from the earthquake. Everything is moving slow because it's hard to travel the country. You don't know if you can get supplies, you know if you can get materials or not. But I believe that God's going to make a way for this to happen. So we've begun this program to start to steamroll this thing and see it begin to gather some momentum. Go to the link today to the 50/30 Club. It's 50 cents a day for 30 days, $15 a month. If you can't give 15, put the amount in that you can give and give it. All right? If you want to write me a check for $25,000, I'll be glad to get it down to Haiti, and we'll get this thing going as fast as we possibly can. I believe right now there's somebody watching me who could absolutely do that and take care of the need all at one time. But if we all work together, go to the link, click on the 50/30 Club and join today and become part of what God is doing in the nation. I'm going to tell you I'm doing it. I can't do it. I don't know enough about it. I don't know how to get it all done. But God knows how to get it done. And He gives us dreams. He gives us visions. He gives us a little bit of know-how. He puts us in touch with people who know how. And it gets the whole thing gets done in the end, because that's the way that God intended it to be. So I've got the doctor. I've got the bishop. They're dreaming. They're giving me visions. They're sending me PowerPoints. They're sending me PowerPoints in Creole that I can't read, that I got to get interpreted. But they're sending me all kinds of things. They got a dream. They got a vision. I identify with it, and I'm coming to you to get you involved with it as well. If we all get involved together, this thing is going to happen. And we're going to be able to help physically change the lives of some families in the neighborhood in Delmar and Haiti, because you've come along and you've helped us. Join the 50/30 Club today. Become a part of it. Become a part of what God is doing. There's great things happening. I'm going to close with this one quick story. I had a pastor who started supporting us a couple months ago. Sent me a text message this week, and he said, listen, be encouraged. Since we said that we're going to try new things and handle things differently, and we started supporting you like we are, our church is beginning to grow. We've added new families to the church. We've added X amount of new people to the church. And God is doing a great thing. And He tied it all together because their attitude is to invest in other ministries, and they know it's going to come back to them. I'm asking you to do the same. All right? God bless you. Thank you for joining us, and see you again next week on Global Provision Television. Join the 50/30 Club today. God bless.
Thank you for watching today's episode of Global Provision Television. It is because of your continued support that we are able to carry this message of Jesus to the world. We would love to hear from you. We can be reached on the internet at www.globalprovision.org or by mail at P.O. Box 7616, Northport, Florida 34290. Our email address is chuck@globalprovision.org, and our business phone is 941-220-6247, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 Eastern Time. You can find our giving link at www.globalprovision.org. Become a 50/30 partner today, and may the blessings of the Lord follow you all of your days. Until we see you next time on Global Provision Television.